Good Monday morning, everybody. Day 2 out here on this bush hogging job, and got the hard part done on Saturday, and I came back on Sunday with the hedge trimmer and the weed eater, cleaned up around that ditch pond in the back there, and cleaned up this little bit of this ditch over here. I've still got a little bit left to do with the machine, but let's see what we got real quick before we get started. All right, so here's where I stopped on Sunday or Saturday. And so we just got this part through here to do. This is the easy part of this job, or the easier part. It's a little tight in here, but once I get past about where those ponds are, it really opens up through there a lot better, and should be a lot easier to work my way through there. That down in there was really tight with all the trees. And so I cleaned up this little bit right here, and I'm gonna knock down that big thing, that willow, and some of that stuff down there on the corner with the machine. But I cleaned up a lot of that with the hedge trimmer and the weed eater on Saturday, as well around the pond back there. I've got a little bit to do with the machine, but not much. So this thing's warming up, and we're gonna get started and get this done today. got this last little bit to finish up right here next to this building right here. And what I'm doing, and you may even be able to hear this in the video, I'm using I don't have it on constant flow. I'm using the rocker switch to just kind of feather the pump to give the cutter just enough juice to knock this little bit of brush down. It's not too thick, but I don't want to throw anything too bad. I just kind of want to knock this down. And the other thing I'm doing is I'm going only this direction because the blades are spinning clockwise. So most of the time what's going to happen is if it's going to throw something, the blades are going to grab it and the discharge is going to be on this side. So it's going to want to come out and kick out this way. So it's not impossible, but it's more unlikely that anything will go that way. It's mostly going to kick stuff out this way, away from the building and the cars and stuff over there. So one thing to think about when you're cutting next to a road or a building or anything like that with one of these rotary cutters, you want to always know which way your blades are going, either clockwise or counterclockwise, and then cut, you know, if you're next to a building or a fence or a road, you always want to have, you know, have those blades going away, you know, so clockwise, that's going to come away from the building. So just a little tip there. And I'm just kind of giving it just enough there to get this stuff down. And if anything goes over there in the grass, I'll get the blower. We'll come back and clean that up. I won't leave a mess in their grass. Clean this little bit right here up. So right now I'm just holding the thumb, basically like the thumb button, the rocker button, and it's just giving flow to the cutter, and then I'm going to kind of let go, and then I'll wind it back up. A little more. We're just going to walk down this line, clean this up. Not much to it. Luckily, this one little section right here next to this building, there's not really any trees. I'm gonna straighten up, come around here. Let's see if I can't pull this stuff over here. There we go. That's what I'm gonna do. That'll keep it from falling over there in the grass. All this over here away from the grass in the parking lot. There's not much room for me to work with over there. I mean, as far as backing up, you know, back this way, I mean, their little mulch bed or rock bed is right there, so we've got very little to work with here. And I'm going to try to push this over this way. There we go. Very nice. Very nice. Out and move the other GoPro really quick. The other thing is I'm only running the throttle about 70%. And that's the one thing you can't do like this, the rocker switch doesn't work on the high flow. So if I had this running on the high flow, I would not be able to kind of feather this like this, like I'm doing with the thumb. It wouldn't work. The high flow doesn't have that. It's what you would call, I guess, like a proportional auxiliary. Because, you know, the thumb gives you you know, you can control how much flow. That's typically called like a proportional auxiliary, I believe. Because you can tell the machine how much you want it to give with the rocker switch. Knock that down. Alright, we got a little willow tree and control stuff right here. Get this down. Surveyors came in here and put little flags up for delineated wetlands. And, you know, there's some ditches in here, but I don't know why they consider ditches delineated wetlands. I don't really consider a ditch wetland, but this little area right here, they've got designated as a delineated wetland. And so for delineated wetlands, you can cut and you can mow in delineated wetland, but you cannot do anything to alter the course of the water flow. So like you can't dig up stumps, you can't dig up trees and push them over, you can't alter the ditch in any way or the ground, you know, to make the water flow differently. Alright, so as I was saying, my GoPro ran out of SD card footage. I had to delete something really quick, but so you can't dig the ground in delineated wetland, at least not without approval, and that typically has to come through the Army Corps of Engineers, at least where I'm at. You have to go through them. They're the ones that have all that permitting stuff for delineated wetland. This area right here is a little low and wet because this water is coming down this little swale right here and going into this pond back here, or ditch, or whatever it is. It's bigger than a ditch, but it's not really quite a pond. I guess it would be kind of like a retention pond, but we can't knock. There we go. We're just knocking this down nice and easy. Into this little swale here. I don't know how wet it is. That would be something to get stuck right here next to this parking lot. I definitely don't want to pull a wheelie on my second day running this machine. You guys watch John, you know Willie has gotten the ASV stuck a couple times in a ditch or two. I'm just giving him a hard time. He's a good operator. It happens to us all. Alright. Got that last little bit over there in this corner. Just kind of clean up. I cleaned this pond up yesterday by hand. So all those like cattails and stuff right down in there, I cut all that by hand yesterday. Came over here yesterday morning and cleaned all that up. So, all right. All right, well done. We got a little bit left over here to do, and that'll be it. Dog fiddles. Oh man, they just pop up everywhere. They're nasty. They make a mess. They're so tall. Alright. Alright. Give me another 5 minutes and All right, everybody, we are done. Yay! So, got all that cleaned up, got back there around the pond, or ditch, or whatever that thing is. Cleaned all this up, went and finished that little bit down there by that ditch as well, where there was like still some more cattails. There was a big willow down there that I wanted to grind up, so, yeah. Now, I know somebody's gonna say something about going around the trees. Two things with that. One, between there and the end of this lot, there's probably 500 trees in there. I don't have to go around them. This is pretty much what we did the last time I cut this lot, and the client was super happy with it. We just get what we can get, and you know, the rest is fine. They just don't want it to become a big jungle, and just going around, you know, getting the big parts, you know, leaving little parts between the trees is not a big deal. You know, they just don't want the middle section to be completely a jungle. And for the most part, it won't, you know, because there's so much shade. The only places where it gets really overgrown is where there's no shade, like on this end and back there around that pond. There's very little shade back there, so that gets a lot of sunlight, and the vegetation tends to do really well in there. But for the most part, in the middle of this, it doesn't, there's nothing really super heavy in there. So, yeah. So just got through cleaning this bad boy up and blowing it off, and took out all the filters, opened the back end up, blew everything out. She was pretty dusty. So yeah, still getting used to it. I will say, constructive criticism here with this machine, the hydraulics on it it's definitely not as smooth as the John Deere. As far as when you're tracking and then moving the arm and adjusting the cutter, it's not as smooth as the Deere. The hydraulics aren't. I'm not saying it's a bad machine. You know, all machines operate a little differently, and this one's just not as smooth as the Deere. But the ride, oh my gosh, I love this bogie suspension. As far as the ride going through the woods, it's really, really smooth. It's really nice. I don't feel beat up or jarred. You know, I mean, obviously it's going to rock around a little bit when you hit holes and stuff like that, but going over all the roots and stumps and deadfall that's in there, this thing just glides right over all of it, and does a really good job with that. So I'm really happy with that. That's doing that back there, and this job here last year is really what kind of sold me on getting an ASV, because I just got so beat up tracking, especially on that side where the trees are really thick. I got so beat up back there, so beat up, you know, with that solid rail suspension on the bottom of the Deere. So I'm really happy with the ride with this. I wish the hydraulics again were a little smoother. There's a bit more delay, you know, when you tell it to do something. There's a bit more delay than what there was with the Deere. The Deere was electric over hydraulic. I'm pretty sure this one is electric over hydraulic as well. And though it could be pilot, but it feels like E over H, but I'd have to check on that. But it doesn't seem as smooth. But other than that, she's a beast. She's made to go in the woods for sure. So really happy with it so far overall. Very happy. So I'm gonna get her loaded up. We're done with this job and got another mowing job tomorrow. Stay tuned for that, and I'm out. I'll catch you guys on the next one. Bye, everybody.